Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on the 95 Honda Shadow VLX 600. I think we got everything in there, so it's a VT600CD, I believe. Not sure if I introduced you guys to this yet or not, but here she is. I've got her tank off, I've got the side covers off because I'm working on electrical. We got issues on this not starting. So, that's the issue I'm having. So I was thinking, first of all, when the bike came to me, we had burnt up wiring here. So I replaced the solenoid with I think it's a working solenoid, and had to map out the wires. So the red, white, and the red are your power wires, and they run through your main fuse here. So if you pull out that fuse, you're not going to have power to the bike at all. So that connects your main fuse, and it also brings power in from everything else. And then your starter solenoid is here, so you have your red lead coming from your battery. So your battery starts the power, comes in here to your starter solenoid, and then this terminal goes out to your starter. So what you have here is your yellow red wire and your green red wire. They connect your starting circuit, and basically when power is fed through here from your start switch and all the other stuff, that's going to tell your starter solenoid to switch on because it activates in here. That raises a metal plate that connects your points here, and then your starter is told to turn. So all that said is I'm not sure why the starter does not want to spin. I took all this apart and it looked like we had some burnt wires. The covering, do I have that local here? I'm not sure. No, the plug was kind of burned up. So I took the plug off and connected everything without the plug. And looked like the red wire is burnt the worst. The rest seemed pretty decent. So I thought, if the red wire's not working, you're not going to have power. So first thing I did was checked that fuse, and that's actually good. I won't show you that, so I don't bore you. But let's check power for the rest of the bike. Let's go over here on the key, down here under your left leg. So turn your key on. We already have a headlight. Indicator lights tell me I'm in neutral, and I know I am. I checked it. Oil light is on so that you have pressure. That's going to go off if you start the bike. Side stand, that light does work. If you put the side stand up, it goes off. Let's check for high beam. All right, we have high beam. Oh, we just lost. There, it's back. High and low beam. So that's probably going to turn off if we try to start it. Yep. That cuts out so that you have all the power directed to the starter. As you can see, it's not working. Draws power, so tells me the button is working. Something is not. Now I have tried to start this. Let's check everything else. Turn signal. We have a front and a rear. See, it's a nice steady blink. Check the other one. You know, that light was on before. One of the filaments must be burnt out. It's a lot quicker. So it looks like I need to check the bulb on the front here. Turn that off. Okay. Now we're back on the other one. See, okay. So we have a running light, but it doesn't blink when you turn the turn signal on, so I guess I need to replace the bulb there. That's probably all that is. Okay. Come on. A little sensitive there. Okay, we checked everything. Let's check the horn. Definitely have a horn. No worries there. So, all of our circuits are good. Here's my test meter. I did, oh, how about brakes? We do have a tail light, that's good. Brakes way up there. See if I get a brake when I step on it. Do not see a brake. Am I not getting it? I don't see a brake light. Well, that could be an issue. Let me check the front brake. See if we have that. Nope. Okay. Time to check the fuses, because if I don't have brake, I do have a tail light. Okay, that's no problem. So if I don't have a brake, I might have a fuse out. Maybe that's why we are not getting a starter. All right, I will check my fuse. Okay, well, I did get a brake light for the rear. You can definitely see that now. And I'll show you what I ended up finding. Look, right down in there is a spring. And that spring's kind of not working real good. But it was kind of hung up and not sitting correctly. And right now it's not sitting correctly. But it's actually doing its job. So that spring, see towards the right, it's in that bracket. And that actually pulls the brake switch. So it is actually working as it sits now. That's not sitting well perfectly, so I have to fix that. But the funny thing is, I'm still not getting... Oh, wait, is that it? No, it's not. It's not working. Great, up front. Oh, there it is. There, it's coming back to me. See that? I think I have to tear apart this switch. So these connectors right here, when you pull this, when you pull your handle here, these little connectors make connection. So these are plugs. So it might just be my plugs are loose or dirty or something. But those run into this switch housing here. So I might need to take this apart and clean it inside. Might be also why we're not getting... Something is definitely not working in there somewhere, because everything now, all our problems are now kind of in this area. So I'm going to have to pull that apart, because it's trying to work like it wants to. Something's definitely dirty in there. There's a connection or a wire that doesn't want to work. Like I said, here's the bottom. That's a completely different line, different circuit. It's doing its job. But the top one is not doing its job. It feels tight. I mean, it feels like it would work. Oh, there it is. Now we're getting it back. I feel like I have pressure, so I'm not concerned about the pressure. Like, I think the brakes would work just fine, but they're coming back. There it is. There it is. We're waking back up. There you go. There you go. All I did was mess with it for a while. Okay, well, that's working now. We're doing just fine. Well, it misses every once in a while. All right, something's dirty. We need to clean it up. Still don't have a start button, but we're getting somewhere. Getting somewhere with the other stuff. Let me show you another cool feature of this bike. I've never had these, but these extra headlights here, there's a little switch under here, and they're probably just wired into something. Hopefully that's not giving me issues. But all you gotta do is flick that switch and you got extra lights. See that? That's on the back of these lights. I don't know if that's a Honda thing. They do kind of match the headlights, so they might be a Honda line addition. And you can see here, the turn signals are mounted under there, so it might be factory. I'll have to look into that, but there you go. Extra lights are kind of cool. Okay, so back to checking things here. Guys, I must admit, I thought I was being dumb for taking this whole thing off the handlebars. But after messing with the bike, making sure I had fuel delivery, making sure all the fuses were good, I ended up checking for spark. I did not have spark. So you know what? I know the general system here. So I actually have a wiring diagram for this shadow. And I'm not going to go into technical things here, but when you look at this, not having spark. Now, another thing I was having issues with was my start button was not activating the starter. So, I don't have spark and I don't have a start button. So I could jump the solenoid and the thing would crank. I'd have a starter, but it would crank and crank and crank. And every once in a while, I could hear like a pop. I thought that's really weird. So if we didn't spark, there wouldn't be a pop. The engine wouldn't even try. So, a little bit of thinking tells me this engine start-stop button might be the issue, because you know what? What does this engine start-stop button do? Make sure the engine doesn't run. So if you turn that off and you hit the start button, it cuts power. But you know what else it does? You have this on stop, it doesn't send power to the spark plugs. So when you turn this in the off position, it makes sure that your engine's not going to spark. So it won't send a signal down to the ignition coils and the sparks plugs. So anyway, I've been messing with this, and let me show you what I found out. I started messing with this, and the complaint was the bike wouldn't start, right? Now I could get it to crank, but I still couldn't get it to start. So that tells me, for some reason, we're not getting spark. So let's see, I connected the wires here. I got one lead on the green and yellow, which goes to the starter, and one lead on the, I believe it was black and green, because that completes the circuit when I hit the starter button. Okay, so I got one lead going that way to the black end of my battery box. And I got another lead going through a light, so I know when the button actually activates, powers onto my box. And the other lead comes up here to the wiring harness. So, check this out. It's not gonna work when it's off, obviously, so we're gonna turn it on. And if I hit the start button, ready, go. I got it working now. Start button actually works. So that's gonna send power to our box. Now, this is completely down, and I was actually holding the start button here. Here, I'm gonna hold the start button down and turn just this. Show you something here. You can actually hear it. Listen for the button. Okay? So the start button's down, so all I would have to do is complete the circuit. You see how inconsistent that is? The actual problem, I can't even get it to go now, is in the engine start-stop switch. That's why every so often I would get a jump, because it might have been completing the circuit. Look at that. So this switch is dirty. So what I need to do, I'm assuming it's dirty. I just need to do some electrical cleaning in there. And if it's all the way down and I kind of push on a little bit, it works. See, now what would happen if I'm riding this and this thing kind of jiggles and goes off? The bike's going to shut off. See that? Look, I'm not even moving the switch right now. I'm just holding it down and kind of wiggling it. And it's giving me a little bit of issue. I think that's all the problem is. So all I need to do, probably clean it up just by doing this, but I'm gonna go in here, spray some electrical cleaner in there. Hopefully the contacts are cleaned up by that, and I can get a really nice, good, solid connection. Because look, start button depressed, whoop, start button pressed. Look, I can get it to work. I just have to kind of make sure it's all the way down. But can't have it it's got to always work. So anyway, go get some electrical cleaner, clean it all up. Hopefully I can get a better full connection, and that's probably our issue. Once that's fixed, I bet you anything, we will have spark and we can have the thing running in no time.